GM. Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing? I'm so honored to be kicking off today's presentations for Brand New. I have been obsessed with crypto ever since, many years ago, and I want to share some of that excitement with you guys. So, a little bit about me. I'm Lee. I'm a general partner and co-founder at Variant. It's an early-stage VC firm entirely focused on crypto investing. And before that, I've been investing in consumer startups and software since 2016. So during that time, I've straddled Web 2, Web 3. I've invested in companies from Patreon to Substack to Magic Eden and Foundation. And during that time of investing in Web 2 platforms, I slowly had the realization that the next wave of innovation would come from networks that empowered individuals to become owners. And that crypto represented the way for people to not only participate in communities online and to create content online, but to actually earn ownership in a part of the platforms that they used. That's the founding thesis of Variant. We invest in products that turn users into owners. And we invest in applications that leverage digital ownership as a new design space. So the title of this talk is 2 + 3 = 6. I can math well. I came up with this title about 2 weeks ago when I was sick and had a fever and thought that it was clever and accurate. But the point is that merging these two worlds together, Web 2 and Web 3, is positive sum. It can create a better internet together. The sum is greater than its parts, in other words. But first, a show of hands. How many of you guys work in Web 2? Don't be shy. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. Okay, cool. How many of you guys work in Web 3? Awesome. Sounds like the rest of you guys work in Web 4. So we often talk about what Web 3 can learn from Web 2. This is a big part of the conversation that I'm privy to, is what can Web 3 founders learn from Web 2 in terms of product design or onboarding or growth best practices. But we hardly ever have the opposite conversation about what can Web 2 learn from Web 3. What are the actual best practices from Web 3 that can be ported over to companies of all kinds, including in Web 2? So let's start there. What are lessons from Web 3 that can be transferred to traditional Web 2 companies? Number one is involving users as stakeholders, or cultivating an ownership mentality. I've written a lot about the concept of psychological ownership, which is this feeling of ownership that brands and companies can cultivate among their users. Studies have shown that when users feel like owners of your brand, they're actually more bought in. They have better referral, better word-of-mouth growth. They have higher customer satisfaction and retention. And I think this is something that a lot of Web 3 projects have done well. They create that feeling of ownership by giving people ownership of digital assets. And Web 2 companies have taken a page from this playbook, ranging from Starbucks stamps to Nike swoosh, which get users to feel more bought into their brands. And Web 3 projects take this a step even further by layering in financial ownership onto that feeling of emotional connection, turbocharging it. Number two is leveraging financial incentives for growth, for retention, really as a new hook or a new tool in the toolkit. So in crypto, a playbook that is becoming established is to use financial incentives or to use speculation in order to overcome the cold start of new products. Examples of this include tokenized marketplaces that get people to contribute some resource for a token. For instance, our portfolio company Demo collects car data from car owners by rewarding them with token incentives. But more generally, you can use this playbook applied to all sorts of different things, from bootstrapping an audience for a new film to crowdfunding a new music album. And I sum up this playbook as come for the speculation, stay for the utility. In other words, you come for the financial interest, you get users in the door for a financial interest in a token, and that bootstraps organic interests, which then further propels the community or the network. In a world that's become saturated with paid marketing, push notifications, I think this use of speculation as a new tool to cut through that noise for growth and retention is really powerful. Number 3, hyper-personalization. So a lot of Web 2 brands feel like they do personalization really well, but I'm going to show how Web 3 can do it better. So about a month ago, I was checking out on a Coinbase commerce website for a baseball cap. The baseball cap was $30, and it also prompted me to connect my wallet during the checkout flow. And so I did that, and it actually saw that I had a particular NFT in my wallet, and it applied a discount because of that. The discount was 100%, so I got this hat for free. And this example was super simple, but quite magical, because based on the contents of my wallet, this brand was able to see some information about me and use that to infer what discount I should get. It could probably tell that I was a community member, that I followed them on social, that I was very engaged with them, and discounted the product accordingly. I think the future of e-commerce experiences and of all applications is going to look more like this and go beyond this too. Instead of just personalizing offers based on your behavior with that brand, there are going to be experiences that get personalized for all of your interactions across all applications, all brands, based on your public on-chain information. This has the potential to break down walled gardens, and these experiences are going to get personalized for you across the entire internet based on on-chain information. Number 4. Lastly, so defensibility originating from community, culture, and ownership. What does that mean? So crypto is dominated by open source, not just open source protocols, but portable assets and identity. And what that means is that users have the ability to take their assets, identity, and data from one application to another. We've seen this play out in the NFT marketplace space, where the defensibility for any given marketplace is relatively low. We've also seen this play out in social, where users can choose from a number of different applications or clients that they use, and they can bring their social network and all of their content with them. What this means for builders and founders is that they now have to compete on the basis of offering an actually better product and experience versus just locking users in. And in this new world, a new driver of defensibility potentially becomes giving users ownership of your product, making users an owner in order to create more alignment. And this model of building is probably more difficult for builders, but ultimately the end winner is consumers who have more agency and freedom and choice. So those are some themes to explore for Web 2 companies from Web 3 best practices. But returning to the theme of 2 + 3 = 6, let's talk about the 3 now, Web 3, and specifically the future of consumer crypto. And specifically, how does consumer crypto move forward? I get this question a lot. There are broadly 2 paths that I've seen emerge for the future of consumer crypto. The original genesis of crypto, we have to remember, started with one asset in 2009, which was Bitcoin, which was designed to be stateless money. And Bitcoin is an example of a type of product that treats crypto as the why, meaning the fact that it's crypto, a crypto asset, is the entire reason why people are there. That's the value proposition. And since then, this class of products that treat crypto as the why has expanded to include things like meme coins and PFP projects and other products that put crypto at the center of why people are there. And the target user of these products is typically degens, speculators, early adopters, etc. But crypto is not just about money, and it's not just about assets. Crypto is also a technology. And so in the past couple of years, we've started seeing builders treating crypto as the how, meaning crypto is just a tool. It's the underlying technology that helps a product accomplish something. In these products that treat crypto as the how, crypto is often invisible, and the end user is actually oblivious that there's a blockchain involved at all. So for example, the restaurant loyalty network, Blackbird, represents users' dining history as NFTs, but as an end user, you would never know that there's an NFT involved at all. In other words, crypto is the how, it's not the why. And this segment of products is typically targeting mainstream users that just have a pain point and want that pain point solved better. But now, what we're seeing is an entirely new wave of products that I call only with crypto. Products that use the building blocks offered by crypto in order to create entirely new experiences. In this category, crypto unlocks an entirely new design space and creates compelling experiences that you just couldn't find in Web 2. This segment of products can only be built with crypto because they have capabilities rooted in what crypto brings to the table. That includes global payment rails, composability of on-chain assets and identity, and the creation of new markets and new assets. Together, these building blocks unlock new experiences. Let me share some examples. So last month, I was a contestant in Crypto the Game, which was this Survivor-esque online multiplayer game that took place over the span of 2 weeks. I was promptly eliminated because I'm not very good at Pac-Man, but there were a few dimensions of this game that I think could only have been built on crypto. For one, it was built on crypto as the payment rails, enabling it to involve real money prizes and a global user base from day one. The founder, Dylan, said that he couldn't imagine building this kind of game on any other set of financial rails. And in the future, you could imagine Crypto the Game introducing all sorts of novel game mechanics that are made possible only with crypto. For instance, you could imagine that in the future, contestant spots might be tradable on a market and represented as NFTs. You could imagine an embedded prediction market that allows audiences to bet on what's going to happen next. That layers in another layer of engagement that just wouldn't be possible in Web 2. Another example of only possible with crypto are new networks and new marketplaces that just don't exist in the world today. So based on over 7 years of investing in marketplaces and consumer networks, a realization that I had is that there are a whole slew of consumer networks that should exist in the world but don't exist today. In other words, these are products that would actually give users real utility, but because of the immense cost of getting these networks off the ground or bootstrapping new users, these marketplaces just have a really difficult time scaling. Examples range from new dating apps to hyperlocal social networks to marketplaces for all kinds of services. Plenty of Web 2 founders have tried to build these kinds of networks, but they often struggle to raise enough money to get them off the ground or to scale them beyond a certain point. And as mentioned, you could leverage financial incentives in the form of a token to build these networks. And what excites me about this category of new products is that instead of using tokens to recreate what already exists in the Web 2 world, you're actually building net new networks and marketplaces that don't exist today. Another example of something made possible only with crypto is new composable apps and distribution channels that connect to users' wallets to enable richer actions. So last month, we saw the launch of Farcaster Frames, which is a new framework for building mini applications that are distributed inside of Farcaster, a decentralized social network. In other words, these apps are meeting users where they're already spending their time, where their wallet's already connected, instead of forcing users to go to a separate destination. And already we're seeing developers use Frames to create experiences from ordering Girl Scout cookies to minting NFTs inside of their social feed. As an extension to that, in Web3, composability allows you to create headless marketplaces that tap into a pool of liquidity that exists on chain, but where the end user experience is meeting users wherever they're already spending their time. The end result is you get lower friction to transacting and deeper liquidity network effects, all within this seamless experience. As an example, we're already seeing builders build things like prediction markets as frames where users bet on certain outcomes within the context of their social feed. So those are a few examples of products that can only be built with crypto, and there are more examples emerging each day. This is the category of applications that I'm most excited about as a consumer investor and what I believe will bring in the next wave of users. Just like previous eras of technology in Web 1 and Web 2 were only possible on those new computing platforms, I think the next generation of applications in Web 3 will take advantage of what crypto offers in order to build experiences that you just can't find anywhere else. And as a longtime consumer investor, I'm really excited about this future. Thank you.